Have you ever tried to push a door marked pull? How does it feel when you're standing there, unable to get in, as you're trying to force it the wrong way? It's a brief, frustrating moment, isn't it? Imagine if our lives were like that door. We kept pushing when we should be pulling, trying to force it when things don't go our way. In modern life, we often hear people praising those who are go-getters, those who make things happen, those who never stop trying. But have you ever wondered if all that really brings us peace of mind? Or is the secret to true success and happiness sometimes in letting things happen naturally, in their own way? Today, I want to share with you a different perspective on life, an art that not everyone can easily recognize, the art of letting things happen naturally without trying to control or force them. This is not about stopping trying, but learning to try wisely, in harmony with the natural flow of life instead of against it. And before we dive into this topic, I have a small but extremely important request. If you find this sharing valuable, please take a moment to click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This will help you not miss any useful content from the channel, and it is also a way for you to support the work I am doing here. It is a small action, but it brings a lot of meaning. And don't forget, it is completely free. Imagine yourself in the middle of a large river, the water rushing down, taking everything in its path. You have two options. You can decide to swim upstream, trying to fight against the force of nature, facing each wave with resilience. Each stroke pushes you a little bit forward, but also takes a lot of your strength, making you gradually feel tired and exhausted. Although you may eventually reach your destination, the price to pay is very high. Or you can choose the second way. Let yourself drift. You let the river guide you, take you in the direction it wants. You don't have to try to fight the flow. Just relax. Feel the lightness and comfort that the water brings. Although you can still reach your destination, you will arrive there feeling relaxed and energized, rather than exhausted. The art of letting things happen naturally is not a call to live a passive life or give up on your dreams. On the contrary, it is the wisdom of knowing when to act and when to let go, allowing life to take its course. This does not mean giving up on personal efforts, but rather focusing on efforts that are in line with the natural flow of the universe. It is a balance between acting with purpose and knowing when to let things happen naturally, without forcing or resisting. And when you learn this art, you will find that life becomes much lighter and more pleasant. You will no longer feel exhausted from swimming against the current, but instead, you will find serenity in letting life take you on the path it has laid out for you. Stoic philosophy, although it has existed for thousands of years, has always been a valuable source of inspiration for us in learning to accept and live in harmony with nature. Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus not only taught moral principles but also applied them practically in their daily lives. Instead of wasting time on complex philosophical debates, they focused on how to live a meaningful life based on reason and virtue. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Roman emperors and a famous Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Do not waste your life speculating about others. Instead, concentrate on creating the good that you can." This quote contains a profound message about letting go of unnecessary worries and focusing on the things that we can control. Marcus emphasized that it is futile to try to force the world around us to conform to our will. Life cannot be completely controlled, and when we try to do so, we only create stress and fatigue for ourselves. Instead, Marcus advises us to look inward, focus on cultivating character, developing virtue, and letting things happen naturally. Seneca, a statesman and one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Fate leads those who wish to go and drags those who are reluctant." This quote is not just a reminder to follow fate, but also contains a profound philosophy about how we should live. Imagine life as a river. If you are willing to embrace and let yourself flow with it, you will find yourself gliding along, enjoying the twists and turns of life with ease. You feel free and light because you are going with the flow of life, instead of trying to fight it. However, if you try to go against the flow, you will feel tired, exhausted, and dragged by the inevitable force of the river. Seneca does not encourage passivity or resignation. On the contrary, he emphasizes the importance of effort, but effort that is wise and appropriate to the circumstances. There are times in life when you need to row with all your might, facing challenges with all your might. That is when you realize that action is needed, that you need to be determined to overcome difficulties in order to move forward. But there are also times when you need to let go, to learn to lift your oars and let the river carry you. That's when you realize that going against the flow isn't always the best option. Sometimes, wisdom lies in knowing when to stop, when to let life take its course. Effort is an important aspect of life. It is the driving force that pushes us forward to achieve our goals and aspirations. But is all effort good? The answer is no. When we look at Stoic philosophy, we see that true strength lies not in haphazard or blind effort, but in effort that is directed, purposeful, and in line with the natural way things are. In Stoic philosophy, strength is not muscle strength, not power or domination. True strength comes from within, from wisdom, spirit, and self-control. When you strive in harmony with your goals and with the natural flow of life, you are using your inner strength effectively. It is like rowing downstream, using the current to move forward without using too much effort. You will feel lightness, ease, and positive results from this effort. On the other hand, when you try to fight against nature, trying to control what is beyond your control, when you begin to feel exhausted, you are like a person trying to swim upstream. Each stroke requires great strength and makes you tired. This effort not only does not bring the expected results, but also makes you fall into a state of stress and frustration. In life, we do not always know clearly when to continue striving and when to let go. This is a complex question that many of us often face, but there is a simple way to find the answer right in your own body and mind. Start by listening to your body. When you feel stressed, tired, and constantly encountering obstacles, it may be a sign that you are pushing yourself too far. It is time to stop, take a deep breath, and reassess the situation. Are your efforts going against the natural flow of life? If you feel like you are fighting a battle that may not be going as expected, it may be time to let go. Letting go is not giving up. It is accepting that effort is not always the right solution. Sometimes, letting things happen naturally is the best way to find peace. On the other hand, when you feel in the zone, that is, when things are going smoothly, harmoniously, and you feel joy in the work you are doing, it is a sign that you are on the right track. That is when you should keep striving. Keep trying, because you are in tune with the flow of life. When you are in this state, everything you do becomes easier, and you feel a deep sense of satisfaction. The Stoics lived and acted in this flow. They did not try to control everything around them, but instead accepted what was happening and took the necessary actions without being attached to the outcome. This can also be applied to our modern lives. We cannot control everything, but we can control how we react to it. When we accept this, we feel lighter, less stressed, and more at peace. You can start by recognizing what is within your control and what is not. You cannot control the weather, but you can control how you dress for it. You cannot control how other people react. You can control how you react to them. When you understand this, you will see that much of life's stress actually comes from trying to control things that are out of your control. Let go of those things and focus on what you can do right now. We can learn a lot from the Stoics about how to live in the natural flow of life. It is not about being passive, but about living with understanding and acceptance. It is about choosing the battles you can win and letting go of the ones that are beyond your control. Don't force yourself into situations that you cannot control. Instead, focus on improving yourself, cultivating wisdom and virtue. Remember, the results are not always in your hands, but your efforts are. There is a famous story about an ancient Spartan warrior, illustrating the power of silence and listening. At a party, when everyone around was talking, exchanging opinions loudly and boisterously, the warrior just sat quietly. No one knew what he was thinking, and this made the people around him curious. Finally, someone couldn't help but ask why he was so quiet. The Spartan warrior replied simply but profoundly, "If I were stupid, I would not have been able to keep silent all this time." That answer made everyone surprised and thoughtful. In fact, this statement is not just an answer, but also a valuable lesson about life. In many cases, silence is not a sign of passivity or ignorance, but a manifestation of intelligence and wisdom. Silence gives us time to think, to listen, and observe, instead of rushing to express our opinions without really understanding the problem. In daily life, we often encounter situations where being silent and listening can bring more value than speaking out. When we listen to others, we not only learn new knowledge but also understand more about the world around us, about people and about ourselves. Silence at the right time keeps us from getting caught up in pointless arguments and allows us to see things more fully. Stoic philosophy is not just an abstract theory, but a way of life that has been proven over thousands of years. One of the clearest examples of its longevity is the story of Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. Zeno was not born a philosopher. In fact, he was a wealthy merchant who lived in luxury and power. However, his life changed completely when an unexpected event occurred, a shipwreck that took away all his wealth and fortune. In such a desperate situation, many people would have collapsed, given up, or sunk into sadness and despair. But Zeno chose a different path. He did not let this loss destroy him. Instead, he sought enlightenment in philosophy. It was through his wisdom and philosophical thinking that Zeno developed Stoicism, philosophy that emphasizes accepting fate, cultivating wisdom, and living in harmony with nature. Zeno taught us an important lesson. When things don't go as planned, instead of wallowing in misery, look for meaning and lessons in those challenges. He reminded us that failure is not the end, but an opportunity to train ourselves and grow. Loss is not a reason to give up on our dreams, but a time to look back, adjust, and continue our journey with new patience and determination. Zeno's story is a clear example that life doesn't always go the way we want it to, but it is in those difficult moments that we can learn the most valuable lessons. Instead of letting obstacles discourage us, let them be the motivation to develop ourselves. Key is not to avoid difficulty, but to adapt, transform, and continue moving forward with stability and calm. Stoicism encourages us not to give up when faced with challenges, but to face them with a positive mindset, finding value and meaning even in the most difficult situations. This is how we not only overcome adversity, but also grow and become stronger from those experiences. Life can sometimes feel like we are rowing against the current, but if you know when to stop and when to continue, you will find that the flow of life is not something to fight, but something to be in harmony with. Let things happen naturally. When you relax and let life take its course, you will find a peace and joy that you cannot achieve if you keep trying to control everything. The art of letting things happen naturally is not about giving up or giving in, but about choosing your efforts wisely, understanding what is within your control, and accepting what cannot be changed. This is the core of Stoic philosophy, living in harmony with nature and with yourself. Remember, life is not a battle to win, but a journey to experience and learn. When you let things happen the way they are, you will find that life becomes much easier and more beautiful. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video.